I already thought of this before I shared what I did. Um, it's not an answer that a lot of people are going to want to hear, because each of the workshops I've created, I mean, we're talking about, I can't even tell you how many hours have gone into them of research, of methodically making sure that every single slide makes complete sense in terms of the deductive logic, right? That this all makes perfect sense combined with the emotional certainty of the story involved. Because when we come out of school, we think we need to lecture. We've been lectured to, and we think we need to lecture to others. No one wants to be lectured to. And so we start reading data and slides and all these things. Fantastic book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. It's really, we're storytellers. We're telling a story. People are coming to us. Now that story needs to have logical certainty. This is why people buy. In the last few years, I've studied communications and sales. I used to look at sales as, this bad thing, because, I'm not a salesman. I'm a healer doctor. But then as I've studied sales, I realized that I was naturally doing the things that they're talking about. There's a book by Jordan Belfort, The Wolf of Wall Street. The Way of the Wolf is the book. And in order for people to act, they have to have logical certainty, which many times people will provide, but not always. I've heard lots of presentations where it's just like bouncing around. They haven't methodically looked at the sequence of information to make sure that everything deductively makes sense. The next premise, okay, builds off the other. Okay, so that's number one. You have to have logical certainty. But in the absence of emotional certainty, people don't buy, people don't move, they don't act. And that's the key piece. And that's brought in through testimonials, third-party credibility, like social proof. It's the the stories, like, hey, here's Johnny. Here's what happened when Johnny came to us originally. You're telling the story. It makes it relevant. It makes the information relevant. Oh, yeah, my son has this, or it's bringing them in, and it's conveyed through body language and tonality, emotion, passion, right? That's presence. That takes a lot of practice. However, if you let the mission drive you, then the passion and purpose will come through. Even if the logical certainty isn't airtight, then that will be enough, because that's what I relied upon, for many years, was more of letting the mission propel me, right? I'm a recovering perfectionist. A lot of people that are out, especially going into chiropractic. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and so I used to be deathly afraid of public speaking. I used to shake. My voice would tremble. But I recognized, based upon what we already outlined, that I didn't have the choice not to speak and stand up and share at a greater and greater capacity. And so I just did it. And then I started to watch others. Dr. Liam Schubel. If you haven't had him on, I'd encourage you to. I watched him speak. Masterful speaker. He'd get off the stage, walk around the room. That scared the heck out of me, years ago. Watched him utilize a dramatic pause to get a point across, right? And how he did that. And then I'd watched Michael Port, who trains. He's an actor who became a public speaker, teacher and coach, and watch him and understand that, again, it's a performance, and being okay with that, right? You might think like, oh, well, I'm not a performer. I'm not an actor. It's like, no, like sales and sales is just communication. We're just, John DeMartini is one of my greatest mentors too. And he said that caring is choosing to communicate in other people's value systems. We want to communicate in our own value systems all the time. So instead, stopping, understanding, like, who's this person in front of me? What are they saying? What's their body language conveying? Am I talking over them? And am I overwhelming them with my energy when they're more right here? Or am I meeting them where they're at and lowering my tone, having control of my communicative abilities, because I have awareness and perceptual awareness, because I've done the work in terms of personal development and spiritual understanding and things like that. Am I there? Am I evolved to that enlightened state? No, absolutely not. However, one of the beauties of chiropractic is that we get exposed to these types of things to evolve our minds and consciousness, to grow and challenge ourselves. We have this luxury. We don't have the luxury of that a lot of the public has, to stay small. And our success in chiropractic is dependent upon how much we embrace the uncomfortable.